Hey everybody, welcome to more content here on Khaldor TV. Today we have the first few games from the fourth qualifier for Enter the Storm. Enter the Storm is of course a great tournament that has already happened a couple of times. We now have the third edition approaching and there's a lot of prize money on the line. The teams can currently gather points during the qualifiers, and then at the end of the last qualifier there's going to be a ranking, and the top 8 teams will then play in the main event, where we already see teams like Team Liquid and Na'Vi, Gamers2 for example. So it's going to be pretty epic, and that's why all of the teams put a lot of time and effort into the qualifiers right now to try and gather those points. Our first game today is going to be Spartanien versus Kappa, and we're on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Unfortunately, as Milan is banned out though, the teams decided they don't really want to deal with the big one, but instead we have the two new heroes. We have Leoric and the Butcher, so it's actually pretty cool. Kappa is running a setup where they have the Butcher at the front line, and he's shielded or guarded by Uther, who of course helps out with that. Behind them there is a Jaina for the damage, and of course with the Nubarak they also have a pretty cool tank in their midst. Whereas on the other hand, for Spartanien we are seeing Leoric, and he's being played again in this double warrior setup that we see so often when he comes into the matches. So we have now Johanna being played for them, and they're relying on something that has been very, very popular these days, going for the double specialists, going into Zagara and also then Zebo for the damage and also the pushing power on the lanes. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the game. This is a best of one, so we're gonna find out if Spartanien, the German team, can take down Kappa. It's not going to be easy, but they already did it once in the best of 3 series at Road to Blizzcon. Kappa, of course, they want revenge for that, so this is going to be a fun one. Guys, Tomb of the Spider Queen coming up next. Alright everybody, game on! At the Enter the Storm qualifier number 4, we have a best of 1 here today, and it is of course the left side, Spartanien, and they are going up against Kappa. So 2 really good teams for the first round of the tournament here, of the qualifier. We have to the left side Johanna, played by Nomi, Glucosa on Malfurion, Coco on Zebo, we have Frieza on Zagara, and we're seeing Grulum on Leoric completing the double warrior frontline, whereas to the right side of the map Kappa starts with Tomzi on Falstad, the Escape on Anubarak, we have Alaston, Jaina, Conti on Uther, and Saifo on the Butcher. Ah, fresh meat! Fresh meat is what we are waiting for, and let's see if that melee assassin composition that they're currently playing is really going to be successful for them. I am definitely interested to see how that's going to work out for them. Already the Butcher here played with level 1 talent Victuals, so he's going to get that heal on level 1. And, well, that being said, let's double check what's going to happen at the bot lane where we only have, like, Leoric. Oh, that's actually, like, that's looking pretty good, I have to say. That World of Warcraft mount together with a normal skin is not too bad. I personally run that, I don't even know what it's called, that one skin that exists there. But yeah, you can't kill Leoric like this, buddy. That's just not going to happen. Grulum is using the Wraith Walk and just moves away without a problem whatsoever. Interesting talent on level 1, by the way, and now that we're talking about it, on Malfurion goes for Shando's Clarity. That reduction on the cooldown for your Innervate is pretty cool when you're running with a few mage heroes, and in this case we're having Zagara and also Nazebo. So mana, spreading that around, spreading the love, that's something that Malfurion does, and in this game it's going to be appreciated because these 2 heroes heavily rely on their mana pool, and they're going to have a lot of fun there. Talking a bit about Leoric, of course, level 1 talent, Reanimation. I mean, what else would you take? It's the talent that players take on Leoric, and especially when you're playing a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, where you have 3 lanes, where you easily can just like rotate between lanes and grab additional globes, then of course, why would you take anything else? There's a couple of maps where you could go for something else, one of them, for example, being Haunted Mine, since usually you don't end up with too many globe of regeneration stacks, but yeah, still. At this point, we're having in the mid lane or at the top lane, we have these rotations. This is one of those things that is very, very common, that you have like 4 heroes rotate between the mid and the top lane. At least on this map, the bot lane is usually the solo lane. It's basically just the exact difference or opposite from what we are seeing on Dragonshire, where oftentimes the mid and the solo lane are being rotated and run by like 3 or 4 heroes, and the top lane is the solo lane instead. So the lineups that we're seeing here, we have a double setup with the warriors against like Anubarak, the soul melee on the side of Team Kappa. Good kill here against Johanna. I suppose that Butcher is also a melee hero, but of course I was talking more about the warriors here than anything else. Now that the level 4s are available, let's see how exactly this is going to reflect in the talents, because it looks like we're going to have a full beetle build on this game. Boundless Conviction taken on Uther, and the Flail Axe for the hamstring length. Not really surprised to see that. What I am a little bit surprised to see, but what I also like, is that we are now having Vampiric Assault taken on level 1. I actually like that a lot. These days, a lot of the full set players have been going more into an auto attack build. A little bit away from that bursty full stat build that has been around for ages, and I really like it, especially in a game against a double warrior setup. You can do so much damage if you go for a good like pressure with your auto attacks, especially when you at some point hit level 20. When you hit 13 and you get your giant killer, oh my god, are you doing damage? And this is one of the things that Tomzy apparently is going to try and do against Leoric, and of course against Johanna as well. Sypho with the ruthless onslaught, and they're about to drop Leoric. He was already in cooldown on his Wraith Walk, used that just a second before, and now of course he can just like move in and try to respawn as fast as possible. But yeah, a bit unfortunate for him that he wasn't cooldown there, but that's exactly of course what Tomzy was trying to bait out, so he prepared that setup for the Butcher. When we talk talents, then we have also to talk about the fealty onto death. It's really cool to see that so many different players are playing now Leoric with different talents. If you look at Rocket, for example, they also love to play Leoric as a second tank in their setups. But what they usually do when they play him, they go into the extra... the damage reduction at level 4. If you use your Wraith Walk, you get a damage reduction while you are Wraith Walking, and in this case now it's completely different. We're having Fealty onto Death, which allows you a bit more lane sustain, which is actually kind of cool, especially on Tomb of the Spider Queen, where you take down a lot of minions in the process. But I kind of I really enjoy that so many different teams are using different setups now for the new heroes that we have. It goes also for the Butcher, not only for Leoric, who by the way down here might be in a bit of trouble. Ruthless onslaught still stuns out Leoric, but actually he's able to slow his opponent down with the skeleton swing, and the Butcher is getting dropped. But Anubarak is there, and the kill against Zagara. It's a 1-for-1 in this situation as Conti moves down to the bot lane to help down now too. The Red Web Weavers have been released and are starting to push in here. Secret Weapon still the choice on level 7 for Falstad. He went into Power Throw on level 1, so he's going for a full auto attack build here, and we're seeing him with the Vampiric Assault having even a bit more lane sustain here. It's going to be super good for him. On level 7, the Paralyzing Rage, and if you go for that, oftentimes we're even seeing the double swing on 16. Again, the Ruthless Onslaught, but only hitting the image, or like the Leoric that leaves behind after the Wraith Walk. So yeah, very well done here on the side of Leoric, but it's Kappa who is currently calling the shots here. They are starting to really do their thing, rotating over. Grulum actually stunned, as well as Malfurion, and the double stun coming in. Oh, wow! That ragdoll fly, oh my god, flew down here into the abyss, into the drain. Oh my god, like whoever killed that thing definitely gave it a big shove. Suddenly, Nomi moving in now to level 7 talent for the Butcher as the brutal strike for the extra damage after the hamstring. So right now things are not really going all too well for Spartanien. We have 4 kills against 1, and up at the top lane, Coco and Nomi are doing their thing right now, trying to at least hold the lane for now, get a bit of experience. A kill against Leoric, oh my god, like Tomzy with a solo kill here. Apparently Grulum not expecting that at all. Maybe they can take him down, that would be at least a small victory, but nope, they are not getting the kill here. The Butchers, by the way, is still waiting in the mid lane. They are trying to go straight for Johanna. So Spartanien has to be a bit careful. These guys are doing work. They actually reached already the round of 8 at the Road to Blizzcon tournament, taking down teams like, amongst others, Kappa. So they can do it. They won in the best of 3 series now. But right now, it seems like Kappa is a little bit angry because of that loss, because they are really putting in the work right now to make sure that they're not losing this game as well. Of course, when we talk about the End of the Storm qualifiers, it's not like one of these tournaments where you reach the first or the second place and all of a sudden you're qualified for the main event. You gain points when you progress through the bracket, and then at the end of all 9 qualifiers there is going to be a ranking, and that ranking will then reflect which teams will advance and which teams won't. So you have to really you have to participate in more than one tournament. You really have to put some work in, and right now it looks like Kappa is willing to put in that work to gather those points and then have a good chance of qualifying for the main event. But right now we don't see Spartanien going down just yet. They are still in a decent position with 69 gems that they have. They need to turn those in, and so far they didn't get the chance because we had a solid 1 level lead for their opponents, and that means that in this case it was also just not possible for them to move out because the heroic ability, Ruthless Onslaught, being used against Malfurion. They're trying to snipe him, and they might get him. He barely gets away with the Tranquility to escape, and Saifu going deep for the kill, but it is Jaina dying first, countered by the kill against Zagara. The Maw still going through, and they're trying to take down Saifu, the only character who was... Oh my god, like that condemn actually hit all 4 players, but the Butcher with the Furnace, and Nomi dying with 58 gems. Oh god, Leoric was already dead, and currently Kappa is just showing Spartanien how it's done. They are moving through the mid lane, taking down the 4. Down in the bot lane, we're seeing the Web Weaver still doing some work, and with the rotation of Kappa, they should be able to drop that second structure here now too. Oh god, this is not looking pretty for Spartanien. Like, they are still 1 level behind, but it's not gonna be only 1 level. Once they are resurrected, it's going to be at least 2. I mean, the top lane has been finally depushed by Coco. They have some really solid heroes here, and I suppose that in the late game we will see also a bit of a power spike, at least for Coco, who with those leaping spiders can be do a bit more damage. It's not like they are running a Kel'Thas. It's not the same amount of power that he gains with the 16 talent, but it's just a bit more annoying. Having the March of the Black King here on level 10 helps in those fights as well, if they get a good setup. As a setup, you could use the Maw, you could use the Blessed Shield. Doesn't really matter what, as long as you get the opponents like locked down in one path, you can really do a lot of damage with this. If you hit level 20, there's a pretty cool talent where with the last swing you are also applying the Drain Hope to everybody in like a large area. It's actually really cool. You are basically invulnerable for a short period of time, and you drain a lot of health away from your opponents. But yeah, you have to go to level 20 for that, of course, as well. And let's just look at the heroes that we're seeing currently on the side of Kappa. They have pretty good level 20 talents too. I mean, just think about Falstad going for Nexus Frenzy here with the auto attack build that he's using. Oh, moving away here, and Web Blast being used, actually. Oh, Ruthless Onslaught against Leoric. They're trying to go for the kill. Already the Butcher's Brand applied. Tomsy doesn't hit anything. Grulum was stunned out for a second and could not move anymore, and Falsa was apparently anticipating him to move into the Hinterland Blast, which didn't happen. So in this case, they did not lose a single hero. It's still 8 kills against 2. What I find very interesting, by the way, is that we do not have Giant Killer on level 13. We have instead the Crippling Hammer taken. I'm not really understanding why exactly that happened, because to be honest with you, if you're up against... Okay, let's be honest, right now, Kappa doesn't seem to have any problem with Spartanien, right? They're dominating the game, but that can turn, and those 2 frontliners, that's one of the reasons why you go for an auto-attack build as a Falstad. Again, the Ruthless Onslaught, the follow-up is there, more already being used. The kill against Zagara, though, and Glucosa is the next target of the Butcher. Divine should already apply to Jaina, who's trying to just get away, but in this case, they're hunting down Coco, and Nazeebo doesn't stand a chance there, not even with Nomi using Condemn and trying to create some space. Grulum is already moving away. Down here, we have another Web Blast, apparently against Johanna. Everybody is just like gathering up, and they are dropping whatever they have to take now down the second tank as well. Just like that, 11 kills versus 2. Really well played here by them. So the 13 talents are now on board for Spartanien. The problem is that we are already on level 15, or will be in a second, for their opponent, and it's just not going to look pretty. We have already the Crave Flash taken, so when you apply the Butcher's Brand, you will have a much easier time chasing those targets down, and that is extremely annoying to targets like Zagara or Nazeebo. We saw them for a second aiming for the boss, trying to go into the throw pit, but they decided to not do that after all. But yeah, now they move in up to the top lane. And yeah, the 13 talents are now ready, and that is actually like a really important talent for Spartanien. This is one of those talents where they could start to make their way back into the game, because they have now not only a spell shield on Johanna, but also a double ice block. And ice block really helps you if you want to deal with the Butcher's Brand. Level 4 talent, by the way, was versatile. I didn't really talk about that. So it's even increased return on the mana regeneration, which is not even better. I like the idea behind it. I mean, you run Zagara, you run Nazeebo, you need a lot of mana for those two. And if Glucosa is with the team the entire time, he can really make sure that they're not running out of mana and can just spam their spells. The problem that we're having, though, is that in this case, I'm not quite sure what he's doing with his cleanse, but the Butcher is getting nearly every Ruthless Onslaught through that they had so far. Then again, he also needs to make sure that at least Anubarak is not getting his stuns in. So now another Red Web Weaver release, and Spartanien is trying to hold on, but they're having a very tough time here. They're up against the level 16 talents now, where we still see Overdrive. revive for Falstad. We're having, of course, again, Enraged taken here for the Butcher, and he wants more fresh meat. Up here, it's still Leoric trying to defend, but they are missing out on one talent, and that's a big problem for them right now. Just look at Leoric already in terms of siege damage, by the way. He's at 80,000 already, taking the lead there. He does so much with that. Naomi had to use his Iron Skin and to move away there. Had to use his trade because that didn't look too good. But over here, we have now, again, the Wraith Walk being used as Gulum moves back. They don't have enough coins for a turn in, at least I don't think so. They had 50, well actually, like, to be honest with you, I think they had already turned a few in. No, they didn't. So they can not even turn in. They need a few more gems until they can turn in. 33 coins or gems on the side of their opponent though. And this is really a dire situation at this point for Spartanien. I mean, they're trying. This is the first round of the tournament, and they got a little bit unlucky being matched up against Kappa this early on. But still, they are holding on. They're trying to make it something happen. Get level 16. That's the big idea here. You need to get the next level in. If you can make that happen, then you will be in a position where you can at least fight back for a short amount of time. A 4-man rotation up to the top lane where they are trying to go for boss. Falstad at the same time is trying to claim the siege giants down at the bot lane, which turns this up here into a 4 versus 4. And now, as we see Nomi moving in, Nomi actually moving down to the bot lane, on the mid lane, to get additional experience. So yeah, it could have maybe been an opportunity for them to fight. The problem, of course, is still that there's no level 16 talent. And from the looks of it, Kappa still wants to go for the boss, and yes, they do. They move in and they say, like, Kappa, Kappa, Kappa. Go for the throw pit, move back again as they realize that Spartanien is trying to contest this once more. Nomi is now with the rest of the team, but they still do not have their level 16 talent. And Falstad can of course use his fly in once that things get serious up at the top and just like join up with the rest of the team. As long as that doesn't happen, he just moves down to the bot lane, says like, alright, I'm gonna push this, that's fine. And Nomi is reacting. Nomi is the one reacting. He wants 16 now for his team, and he's trying to put that to paper. We have him at the top lane. There's still... Initiation! There's the web blast being used, but already stunned out. What elemental? The more for a disengage, but Leoric is dead. And so is Nazeebo. Level 16 is finally ready, but just a few seconds before the talent hit, we saw Kappa go straight for the killing blow. They went in with a web blast and took down 2 heroes, and now they can also take down the first keep in the game. There's not really anybody left to really destroy them. They have Furnace and the kill against Zagara. The Butcher moving in and using his heroic ability here, locking down Zagara with a good stun, and then the Furnace goes off, and that just does way too much damage. The keep taken out now. It's a 2.5 level lead, and Spartanien is currently being completely destroyed. I mean, there are no other words for it. They are getting annihilated here. There is just absolutely nothing that they seem to be able to do against this. They fell behind early on, and since then they were struggling to fight on eye level with their opponents, at least in one of those fights, on even talents, and they just can't make it happen. Now we have the boss taken up here once again, and Spartanien cannot even move in. They have the same talent, but they are 1 hero short, and it's one of the damage dealers, so there's no chance to actually do anything about this. Level 16 is now with a double swing on Leoric, as already kind of predicted, with the level 7 talent that he took here for the Paralyzing Rage. He could have gone for extra damage with Drain Hope, but he decided against it, and well, maybe that was a bit of a mistake. Then again, his problem is really survivability, so if we should fault anything, it's probably the level 4 talent that he took here, the Fealty onto Death. I guess it would have been a bit smarter for him to really get the extra damage reduction on his Wraith Walk. Now that we're having the move in again, Frieza, nearly being dropped here. Glucosa saving him for now, but there's also a lot of action up to the top where we had again another web blast. Good wall though, and the Divine Shield for the Butcher, who's now starting to move away. But finally they were able to turn in at least once in the game. They got a turn in here. The boss is still doing damage against the core, but they can't really deal with him. They need to use that momentum that they have, and they know that the boss is only going to put a couple of damage points on the core, because there is still a web weaver to deal with it. So at least that worked out for them as well. They go through the wall. There's a lot of experience and structures that they might be able to gather now, and if they can do that, maybe they can come back. But it's a bit of a Hail Mary move that they're currently using here. They know that in just a couple of seconds there's going to be a level 20 talent on the board for their opponents. So as long as that's not the case, they need to do as much damage as they possibly can. Falstad defended the bot lane, and now they are moving in as the mid again, as we still see the web weaver. They went through the fort, they take one tower, they take it another one, but they're still 2 levels behind and they should start to disengage. Unless they get the kill, of course, against Jaina, who used Ice Block and is maybe taken down here. Oh, again, the Web Blast, more being used. 20 talents are there. A kill against Zagara. Jaina now dead, but also we are seeing a kill again. Oh my god, in the last second, Johanna taken out. Leoric dead as well. And Nubarak dying just shortly before that. They were trying to make something happen there. You can always argue that they should have moved back, that they were a bit too greedy, but then again, what would they have done if they moved back here? There was nothing to do. That was the only chance that they had. Take down a target or two, try to gain some momentum, and that's all that they were aiming for. Again, oh my god, the setup for the Hinterland Blast and Glucosa cannot escape. The Butcher getting into this extra speed thanks to his level 13 talent. Crave Flash making it possible here. Yeah, it was a good attempt by Spartanien. They gave it a shot, but that did not work out for them. I guess it was the only thing that they could do. The build that we're seeing on Fawcett is kind of funny, I have to say. We have Overdrive and now the Call of the Wildhammer. It looks very much like they're just trying to get in the burst damage after the Butcher initiated with a stun, which I guess is fine, but from the talents that he took on level 4 and level 7, I actually really assumed that he would go into an auto-attack build and go for Giant Killer and then also for Nexus Frenzy, which he doesn't. Would have made a lot of sense against the double tank that they're running, but I guess the whole idea of this setup is, for them at least now, not to deal with the double tanks, but to put so much pressure on those 2 damage dealers in the back line that one of them is going to die before the fight even starts. The Web Weavers are pushing in again. We still have 2 keeps ready. There are still 2 keeps for Spartanien. They are going to try and defend those. They're going to lose at least 1, I'd say, but the problem is, can they survive maybe until they have level 20? Like, it's not all over just yet, but it's looking pretty bad. I mean, you are down a talent, you're down a talent, you're down 2 levels. There's Web Weavers pushing in. That keep is, of course, already about to... yeah, well, it's gone. The one in the mid lane is probably going to fall as well if Kappa wants it. If not, they can try and go for the core instead. But yeah, Leoric is also putting in his siege damage again. Talking siege damage, I mean, Leoric is at 140,000. We have Jaina at 130, so Leoric as a front liner definitely dishing out a lot of damage here. And now the core is already being assailed. But Spartanien is trying to reach level 20. They might be able to get that. It's gonna be close. Can they get the kill against Conti? Yes! Uther is dead, but Redemption is of course still available to him. Level 20 talents are finally there. Web Blast already being used, and they are about to drop Johanna, but Invincible has been skilled in the last second, so Nomi is moving away once again. Malfurion hasn't used his heroic yet. He could go for Blink or Storm Shield here. Leoric is dead first, and they are moving in again with another kill against the Butcher here, and they might be able to get the escape as well. Grulum, can he slow him down? Doesn't look like it. But they get a few kills in. It's 20 kills against 6. They're still very far behind, but they were able to hold on to 1 keep. They were able to hold on to a single keep in this game. We have now also Leoric, of course, starting to move in or back again, since he doesn't want to respawn and then, yeah, immediately being taken down again. Happens to me actually sometimes. Sometimes you just don't think about Leoric spawning where he is, and then you're a little bit like brain AFK, and all of a sudden you spawn right into 3 opponents. You're like, oh my god, yeah, right. I think I forgot about something. But in this case, of course, Grulum moving back, and therefore he's not dying here. Camps are taken everywhere. It's the Bruiser camp, it's the Siege Giant camp, both of them already on the map now. Grulum putting in the extra work with his double swing. Double swing allows you to take down a wave with like simply 1 double swing. That's all that you need. You can take down an entire wave of your opponent. Pretty cool actually. Over here we have now also, in regards to damage, 48,000 by Nazeebo. Nazeebo, by the way, very, very close to what we're seeing dished out by Falstad, who's currently on 59,000. You have, of course, to remember that Falstad didn't die once, whereas Nazeebo was killed 3 times. We have the... oh, that's actually a gutsy call there. Wow. They're really trying to burst down the boss now. And that could work, I suppose. Are they going to use the March of the Black King? Is everybody here? Yeah, this is going to be a 5 versus 5. He moves in. They're trying to go for it. Hardened Shield can be used. And there's Johanna now as well. Web Blast already moved out. They're blinking forward, actually. The Blink more confirmed, not hitting anybody because that Divine Shield was a little bit faster. They get the kill against Falset. They are also about to kill even more heroes, but the boss ends up in the hands of their opponent. Conti goes down again. He does not have redemption any longer, but this boss is now moving in, and not only the boss, it's also still that Siege Giant camp from the bot lane. So Spartanien is still alive. They're somehow holding on to this game, but they are of course far behind, and now they have to deal with a boss that could end there. Nah. I think they have enough damage to really deal with the boss, but they're definitely going to lose more hit points on the core. We have no opportunity for Kappa to move in and really finish the core off because they are currently only with 3 heroes on the map. But this catapult has to be taken out as soon as possible. 55% on the core. The game's not over just yet, but yeah, this is getting a little bit nasty. 20 kills against 8, so they're doing better in these team fights. But still, it was actually kind of funny, like Frieza not hitting a single hero with that maw because we already had Indestructible used on the Butcher apparently, so he kind of missed that, pushed people around. We have them with another attempt to turn in, and to be honest with you, they have enough to turn in, so that will de-push the top lane, that will de-push the bot lane, and in the mid they might be able to pressure in as well. If they can kill a keep or two, that would be kind of nice. That would be really nice. It's also kind of needed. But for that, they have, of course, to win another fight first, and they are now trying to move in the mid lane once again. They're pressuring this in already, and that means that the Web Weaver is going to spawn there. They don't have to take care of the bot lane and the top lane anymore, because the Web Weaver is going to take care of that. Well, actually, scratch that. That is going to take care of the Web Weaver, I suppose. Now over here, this is the more important battle on the other hand, though. And let's see what they can do. Can Spartanien maybe turn this around here? Can they take a keep? That would be a first step. That would be an important step. And they're of course going to try. There's a lot of stuns available right now. So much sustain that we're having on both teams. We have a Hardened Shield, we have Redemption, we have Blinks everywhere, the Storm Shield, Manfurion. And this could get nasty. Spartanien, they try to move in. They are waiting for the Web Weaver. Web Weaver is finally there. And now with that, they might be able to do enough damage to take down one of the keeps. They're already moving forward. Nomi is getting in position, and this keep is going to fall. They're going to take it. They're going to take the keep. One keep down. Kappa has not won this game just yet. It's not over yet. 55% on the core. And Spartanien, they are very German in this case. They do not know how to give up. They are very, very resilient here and are trying things on. Web Blast being used. They need to take that down and do that immediately. Nomi creating space. Instantly after the Web Blast was being used, Nomi says like, alright, I got this. Moves in, uses the Condemn, everybody backs off, and that's now an ultimate heroic ability that they just wasted. They're moving into the middle again, but Cypher is already there on his Butcher. They're just waiting for this one. Grulum actually gets him with a Drain Hope. But yeah, they're just taking the camp here. But of course, now that the Web Weavers are gone, what does that mean? That means that the bot lane is pushing again, and the top lane is pushing again as well. Spartanien has now a bit of a presence in the mid lane on the other hand, and that's really something that they are going to be able to use here. The more they take down now with Johanna's Condemn and also the double swing on the Skeleton King, the more they are going to relieve pressure from the lanes. But the next fight could end this game for either team. I mean, if there's a four-man kill, wipe, whatever, then you could go through the mid lane and end it in case of Spartanien. They're taking now the camps everywhere. But this is not over yet. It looked like all was lost, but at this point they still have an opportunity. They are still the team that's behind, but they took a keep, which is actually pretty damn good. And now they're also attempting, of course, to maybe win another fight, turn in again, make something happen here. And when it comes to gems, we probably need to make sure that there's not another turn-in from Kappa. Kappa doesn't need a lot. 17, 16, that's all that they need. And once that they have 16 additional gems, they can get the Web Weavers, and those Web Weavers will at least drop the keep in the mid lane, if not more, if not end the game. So right now, looking at the damage again, we're having now for Leoric nearly 200,000 siege damage. Zebo at 65,000 hero damage. He is about to really reach the rank 1 in hero damage dished out in this game. Even about to surpass now Falstad, who's still looking at 67,000. The Butcher on 51,000, by the way, which is pretty commendable here too. And they're moving into the mid lane now once again. Every heroic ability is ready again. They have everything up, both of the teams. and they're trying to get a kill in here. We have Glucosa, Grulum, Frieza, and Coco. Kappa is also getting in position, flying down with Falstad, getting a bit more lane present. That also means, of course, that Falstad has no cooldown on his fly-in, so he can't really just switch lanes immediately. Turn-ins are maybe even ready, 50 gems. They have 50 gems right now that they could use, and they're trying to gather more. We need 8 more on the side of their opponent, and yeah, Spartanien is trying to make sure that there's no turn-in from Kappa. It also means that they are abandoning the top lane a bit, and that is of course resulting in a few of the catapults moving over here. So at some point Sparta will have to move back. Do they have a turn-in? They don't. They don't have a turn-in yet. They're turning in all of the gems that they have, which is fair enough, I suppose, but they still need 9 more, and the 8 more that are needed for their opponent are ready. So it looks like Kappa is going to get a turn-in. And if Kappa gets a turn-in, then what are they going to do? They're moving back right now. They can't. Nomi's already telling them, boys, I can't deal with this on my own. We need you right now. And now everybody is moving in. They need to fight, and they know it. They need to fight this battle, and they know it very well. The lanes are pushing the top and the mid lane against the core, but they can't deal with this right now. They have to prevent Kappa from turning in. Grulum is trying to move down here for a double swing, and he's gonna get it once, twice. Dishes out a lot of damage, and in the mid lane, again the attempt of Tomzi and the rest of his teammates to turn in the gems that they have to get another Web Weaver wave. Nomi already with the shield glare, making sure that doesn't happen, and Leoric is moving back. He's on his way back. He did what he had to do. They're trying to go for a kill against Escape. No heroics used just yet. Not a single heroic. They're not committing yet. Now Leoric is back to business, and they can turn in. They got the coins. They got the gems. They got exactly what they need. Nomi needs to turn in his 1 gem as well. They will get the turn in, won't they? It looks like they will. Yes, they get a turn-in. Oh my god, Spartanien actually gets another turn-in. They can focus on another lane now. And for Kappa, this is starting to get a bit annoying. Kappa is playing this very safe and sound now. We are 30 minutes into the game, by the way. And it looks like they are just going for the kill. They're not trying to kill another keep. They're saying like, yeah, this is it. We have an advantage. Let's roll with it. Let's move into the mid lane and take down this core. Because there's nothing else that we can do. We can't drag this out any longer. If we don't win with this Web Weaver wave, then they are going to get a turn in, and we won't survive that. We won't survive the Web Weavers. We have to win it now or never, and that's what they're trying to do. Ruthless Onslaught already there. Cleanse being used. Frieza blinking away. Frieza down already. Web Blast used now too. They're trying to get the heroic out, and there they are. Glucosa with his heroic, but it's a 5 versus 4 at this point, and the Web Weaver is already taken out. Once again, Spartanien is down 1 hero. They're trying to somehow keep the rest of the team alive, but it's not going to be easy. Already Anubarak had to move away, and so did the Butcher after they were rushing in on half HP. But just like that, the defense is successful, and Kappa able to help this. For now, Frieza couldn't really do anything here. He was trying, but it was really a dire situation for him. He blinked away. He was trying to do whatever he could. Glucosa already using his, of course, his cleanse to help him out there. But then, even with him blinking away, the Butcher already applied the Butcher's brand and therefore got a speed advantage. So he could chase him down, use the hamstring as well, and it looks like they are trying to go for the kill. Nope, they're going to go for the turning. Can Kappa win the game right now, or will we see an amazing defense by Spartanien? What is Nomi doing over there? Wow, that was game. That was Johanna dead, and Nomi with a pretty desperate move here, apparently trying to get a shield glare in, but yeah, that is definitely now the end of the game. A 5 versus 4 situation with the Web Weavers pushing in, unless they kill one. Cypher is still... Cypher, Escape, and Conti, everybody's still alive. They're moving in, and Spartanien, they can't. They simply can't. They can burst down this Web Weaver, but they have to move back. They might be able to defend. They might actually be able to defend because everybody is so low. They have to move back first, and that gives Johanna time to come back. And if they take down the Web Weavers before they can do significant damage, then maybe it's going to be enough for defense. This one up here is going to be bursted down within seconds. The one at the top lane is a different matter though. Another 18 seconds until Johanna is back. I can completely understand what Nomi was trying to do, but it was definitely very, he was very far forward, and Kappa just said alright, we're gonna drop you right now. Alright, the mid lane, that's where we are now. Once again, the focus on the keep, and this time they're gonna get it. The keep is down, all 3 keeps eliminated, but Nomi is back, and, Cypher with the blink. Gets the blink in the last second there. But yeah, this is really, this game just doesn't end, does it? 32 minutes in. Nomi might still have a chance with his team to turn this around with another one team fight. But yeah, in this case, you couldn't really argue that he should have maybe moved back and just accept that they're going to get the turn in. I can completely understand what his thought process was, because let's face it, at some point you have to take a chance, and well, if they get the web weavers, can you really stop this? That's a pretty ballsy move though, I like that. And we have another turn-in attempt apparently on Kappa. They don't realize what's going on. Or are they just backdooring? It looks like they're backdooring. They're trying to go for the back door. The boss is going to be taken, but they have to move back. They have to TP, and they might be too late. They took the boss, and it was a good move, but their core is down to 55%. Web Blast is going to be used again. The furnace is already there. They're using the Hinterland Blast, Web Blast, and they just focus their core. They're trying to end the game, and Kappa is going to be successful. There it is. The kill against the core, and Kappa taking it. Good job and well played. They advance at the Enter the Storm qualifier number 4. Kappa victorious. These boys really are putting Kappa with an absolute convincing performance here. They get the victory against Spartanien. At the end, it actually looked like Spartanien might be able to come back into the game. I was kind of surprised because, especially in the early game, Kappa dominated the entire match and made sure that Spartanien was way behind. But then slowly and steadily, Spartanien winning a couple of fights, making their way over into the late game, killing a keep as well, and then at the end you could really see it was all about the last turn in here. And Kappa in the end won the team fight that really mattered, and then dropped the core. But a pretty entertaining game as well, and of course very close, as you could see. Not something that I would have expected at the start of the game, but I was pretty happy that it turned out this way. If you guys liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up on on YouTube, of course. I hope to see you guys soon more for Kappa with a solid performance on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They win the game, but boy, that got close at the end again, didn't it? At the beginning it was all about Kappa, just winning every single team fight and really pushing Spartanien back. But then all of a sudden Spartanien clawing their way back into the match, dropping a keep on the other side, and all came down to those last turn-ins. Extremely well played by the German team too, but Kappa, they get their revenge, and therefore now they won this map. They won on Tomb of the Spider Queen and advance in the tournament, in the qualifier. Pretty entertaining though. I'm pretty happy that it worked out that way, because at the beginning it looked a little bit one-sided, but Spartanien definitely making them work for this victory here. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and of course guys, if you have any questions, just write them in the YouTube comment section. And I'm going to see you soon for more content here on the channel, so enjoy your day and see you soon. Bye bye.